This goes over different types of angle pairs and how we might do some algebra with them. And yes, I know some of you may not have liked algebra, but no, algebra does not go away. We use it in geometry as well. Complementary are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So if we have angle 1 and angle 2 and they are complementary, that means that they do add up to 90 degrees. We can also find just one angle, so if we needed to know just angle 2, you could subtract angle 1 from both sides, and then you would subtract angle 1 from 90. So in other words, if you needed to know this angle here, you would just, and you knew this one, say it's 20, then you go 90 minus 20, so that would give you angle 2. And we're going to do a little bit of that below. So if the measure of angle 1 is 30, what would be the measure of angle 2? So of course both of them added together would be 90. We would subtract out 30, and that would leave me with 50. Oh, sorry, 60. I can do math. If the measure of angle 1, now we're dealing with some algebra, we're dealing with some x's, is 5 plus x degrees. What is the measure of angle 2? So 90 minus 5 plus x. What is 90 minus 5? It is 85 plus x, and that will be your actual answer. You're going to just leave it as 85 plus x. Wait a minute, I messed up. You would do 90 minus, and make sure you use parentheses. That has to have parentheses. 90 minus the parentheses of 5 plus x. And the reason is if there is a minus in front of the parentheses, you have to remember this from Algebra 1. This parentheses will go, this minus will go in front of the 5. It will also go here. So our whole problem changes to 90 minus 5 minus x. And that will, of course, give us 85 minus x as our measure for angle 2. And you will again put it in parentheses, 85 minus x degrees. Make sure you use degrees. I will count off on problems if you do not put the degree symbol. Angles 1 and 2 are complementary. The measure of angle 1 is 4x plus 1, and the measure of angle 2 is 3x minus 2. Solve for x and find the measure of angle 2. If they are complementary, then both of them added together gives you 90. So 4x plus 1 plus 3x minus 2 will give you 90 because they are complementary. And then you solve. Combine like terms first. So 4 plus 3 is 7x. And plus 1 minus 2 gives you minus 1 equals 90. You're going to add 1 to both sides, so you will end up with 7x equals 91. Then to move the 7 away from the x, you're going to divide by 7 on both sides. If you guys cannot remember how to solve, you need to come to tutoring. There is a lot of solving in geometry. So x is 13. But that is not just what it wants me to find. It also wants me to find the measure of angle 2. So we need to plug 13 in for this x and solve. So 3 times 13 minus 2. Three times 13 is 39, minus 2 is 37 degrees. So the measure of angle 2 is 37 degrees. Now we will have two angles that add up to, since they are supplementary, it will be 180 degrees. Complementary is 90, supplementary is 180. Just remember in alphabetical order, C comes before S. And in numerical order, 90 comes before 180. That's how I remember it. You can figure out another way if you want to. In fact, I will give you extra credit if you find an easier way to remember. And you tell it to the class. So, if the measure of angle 3 is 20, what is the measure of angle 4? If they both have to add up to be 180, 180 minus 20 is 160. So The measure of angle 4 is 160 degrees. Now we're dealing with some algebra. If the measure of angle 3 is 2x minus 4, what is the measure of angle 4? Again, just like with this one above, except we're going to use 180 this time. 180 minus, make sure you use parentheses, 2x minus 4.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, this one says that the measure of angle 3 is equal to 2x minus 4. What is the measure of angle 4? So just like the one before, you're going to take 180 and subtract in parentheses 2x minus 4. And then that negative will go in front of the 2, and it will also go right here. So then it will become 180 minus 2x, and then minus a negative becomes a plus 4. 180 plus 4 is 184 minus 2x. So your measure of angle 4 is 184 minus 2x degrees. Angle 3 and angle 4 are complementary. If the measure of angle 3 is 2x plus 5 and the measure of angle 4 is 3x minus 10, solve for x and find the measure of angle 4. So you're going to add both of these together and make them equal to 180. So 2x plus 5 plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 180. Combine like terms. So 2x plus 3x, 5x, and 5 minus 10 is negative 5 equals 180. When you add 5 to both sides, you end up with 5x is equal to 185. To get this x by itself, you divide both sides by 5, and x is equal to 37. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the measure of angle 4. And so we're going to put 37 in for this x and solve. So 3 times 37 minus 10. And 3 times 37 is 74. 3 times 37 is 111. 3 times 37 is 111. Minus 10 is 101. Is the measure of angle 4. Go down to the last part. We have two different types of angles down here. There is a linear pair. Linear pairs are always adjacent angles that form a line. So they are supplementary, but they also have to be adjacent. Supplementary angles do not necessarily have to be adjacent. A linear pair does have to be adjacent. The theorem says if it is linear, then it is supplementary. So if angle 1, this should say and, I apologize, and angle 2 are supplementary, so angle 1 plus angle 2 has to be 180. So all linear pairs add up to 180. That's just what the linear pair theorem says. Whenever we solve a problem this way, it's the same thing as we did for supplementary. Since this is a linear pair, we're going to add them both together and make them equal to 180. So 10x minus 3 plus 4x plus 15 equals 180. (14x plus 12 equals 180. Subtract 12 from both sides. 14x is equal to 168. Divide both sides by 14. And x is equal to 12. But that's not what we asked for. They didn't ask for x. Well, they did say solve for x, but what we're trying to find are both angles. So we're going to take this x and plug it in for that x and this x to find both of the angles. So 10 times 12 minus 3 is 120 minus 3, which is 117 degrees, which is what that left angle is. 4 times 12 plus 15. 4 times 12 is 48 plus 15, which means that that angle is 63 degrees. Now we're going to talk about vertical angles. Vertical angles are two non-adjacent angles formed by two intersecting lines. So 4 and 6 are vertical angles, and we often refer to this as a bow tie. You see how it kind of forms a bow tie if I were to fill it in. It looks like a bow tie, so it's also called your bow tie. And those are your adjacent angles. So 4 and 6 are a pair of adjacent angles, but also 5 and 3 are also adjacent. So they're just across from each other, so it can be a vertical bow tie as well. The vertical angle theorem says that if they are vertical, then they are congruent. So their measures are the same. So angle 1 is congruent to, I'm sorry, not angle 1. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. So the measure of angle 4 is equal to the measure of angle 6. And that's also the same for 3 and 5. So 3 and 5 are congruent, and that means the measure of angle 3 is equal to the measure of angle 5. In other words, whatever degrees they are, they're the same. Solve for x and find both angles. So instead of adding these together, making them equal to something, vertical angles are congruent, so they're the same. They're equal to each other. So we're going to make this equal to that. 7x minus 20 equals 3x plus 16. You're going to move 3x over. That cancels. And you get 4x minus 20 equals 16. Then you're going to add 20 to both sides. And 4x is equal to 36. Divide both sides by 4. And x is 9. Again, we were not looking for x, we're looking for both angles. So you take 9 and you plug them in for x on both. So 7 times 9 minus 20 and 3 times 9 plus 16. 7 times 9 is 63 minus 20 means that this left one is 43 degrees. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 16 means that this angle is also 43 degrees. And that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please come with any questions or comments about this lesson.